indulge me for just a moment with one little war story. 2006, I was in Iraq at Abu Ghraib, wandering around our combat support hospital, and I saw one of the nurses carrying around this toddler, a beautiful little girl, about 2 years old or so, with eyelashes about a foot long, which was not something you saw every day in our hospital. And I thought, what's she doing here? And she said, well, her family's all blown up in the emergency room. So I went down there. And apparently what had happened is a minivan had approached one of our checkpoints, many checkpoints that were out and about. And you have a 20-year-old Marine behind a 50 caliber machine gun, sees a vehicle coming at him, and when it's 150 meters away, he fires a warning shot, and he's got about a second and a half before it's 100 meters away, and then he fires into the engine block, and then he's got about another half a second before he fires into the vehicle, which he did, which stopped the vehicle and killed and injured most of its occupants, fortunately, except for this little toddler. So then these Marines go up to the vehicle, all adrenaline to the max, expecting to see a vehicle full of insurgent fighters and Al-Qaeda. Instead, they see a family, most of whom are dead. So, and the ones that are in the emergency room are a mess. So I'm in the emergency room and I'm talking to one of the Marines standing next to me, and I commented on how awful their injuries are, which were horrific. And he said, yes, sir, sucks to be a bad driver in Iraq. And I looked at him, and I could just see the emotional numbing, the distancing. If it hadn't already started some previous weeks or months, it was happening then. I thought I may well be witnessing the birth of a case of post-traumatic stress. Now, I don't know what happened to that Marine, didn't talk with him much after that, but if he was typical, then when he got back, I just got back from Afghanistan last month, and when you redeploy, you have a checklist that you check, is anything bothering you? And there were some things that were bothering me, but the answer is no, no, no. And if you check anything yes or mention anything yes, then they ask you, do you want to stay on active duty to have this addressed? No, thank you. I want to go home. Okay, put me on the plane, I'm out of here. So if he's typical, he probably did the same thing. He doesn't want to talk to anybody about it. He's a warrior. Despite the best efforts of the Veterans Affairs and Department of Defense, who are trying heroically to remove the stigma associated with the diagnosis of PTSD and with the treatments for PTSD, still in the warrior culture, if you're feeling bad about something, it's a personal problem. You don't let anybody know, you just suck it up and drive on. So he may well not have sought care, and if he did seek care, he may well not have been compliant with it. So these are the types of issues. You multiply that vignette times 10,000, 100,000 or more, and you see the magnitude of the problems that we're addressing. It is appropriate, I think, for TM to be implemented for PTSD. We have great research, as Dr. Hagelin alluded to. It's been studied in PTSD and been found to be effective, and it's effective in addressing all the little bits and pieces and components of PTSD. It's easy to do, easy to learn, effortless to perform. It's really a very suitable intervention. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The Army now is recognizing that soldier resilience is something that we want to promote, both among service personnel and their families and Department of the Army civilians and so forth. TM is an appropriate intervention for that. Just about any psychological outcome that has been evaluated, whether it's moral maturity or development of ego strength or self-actualization or anxiety reduction, increased nervous system stability, just about everything improves with TM, and that's in good, healthy, normal people. So this is the population that we're looking to address. The Army recognizes that the more tread you have on your tire before you go into theater, then despite the stresses that you run into there, you're probably going to be more able to take very challenging experiences and use them as opportunities for growth rather than get into this cycle of self-medication and unemployment and homelessness. And even if you don't circle the drain that deeply, still, as Jerry alluded to, your enjoyment of life is out the window. So I just want to commend Operation Warrior Wellness and the David Lynch Foundation. This is a very admirable cause. Certainly our returning veterans deserve access to this technique. Thank you.